to get you started painting some snowflakes. I know lots of people are not wanting any snow, but it's coming whether we want it to or not. So let's go ahead and get started. This is our picture for the month. It's kind of an ombre background, so we're going to start with that first. We'll worry about the snowflakes afterwards and add some little dots and more like confetti and snow and stuff. So let's go ahead and get started on the background. Let's see, as you can see in the study here, mostly has around this big snowflake a really dark background, and then it gets lighter as you go up. So let's go ahead and start. We'll start with the white and then work our way down, but don't feel like it has to be in rows, or it can be all smeared if you want it to be. And again, this is yours, so you can paint it however you'd like. Now I'm using a sponge brush. It's not necessary. It's just what I had on hand at the time. It's a pretty wide brush, so it goes pretty quickly. So what I'm going to do is start with my white and kind of get it towards the top. And again, it doesn't have to be solid stripes on here. You just want more of a smeared pattern. And I'm going to dip mine in a little bit of water, just my tip of my brush in a little bit of water. You don't want it soaking, but you want to be able to get some of your paint and get a good mixture of colors. So I put just a little bit of it's called True Blue from Folk Art, but feel free to use any colors that you like. You don't have to stick with blue. So, but I know sometimes people ask what colors I used. So we're just gonna go in and kind of smear our colors around. Don't worry if it's exact. And then if you feel like that's too much blue or not enough, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of wipe out my sponge. I'm just drying it off a little bit. And then I'm going to go back into the white and come back up. I don't want some specific lines there. As you can see, like this goes across on that line, and I don't want that. So I'm going to try to get as much out as possible so that it's not a straight, solid line. And then I'm just going to keep going back and forth from white to blue. And so I'm sorry, I thought you could see, pulling some of this down into the white and pulling some of the blue down. Then if I turn it around, and I turn mine all the time, so you can see it's not an exact science here. It's just more smears and smudges. Now I do want, I'm going to go back into my blue and get more of the true blue color and kind of work it down the picture, so I can get, as you can see on the study, there's some more darker blues in there too. So there's not a lot of white on there, but let's try to get some more of this blue color in. And I don't like it when I get a actual edge. So you can see, I feel like when I put my brush here and I stop, if I have it like this, it stops and leaves more of a line. I don't really like that, so I'm trying to get rid of those as much as possible. And the more you push down with your brush, the darker your paint is going to be. So if you just put paint on your brush, then it's going to be a pretty dark color. So, and then if you need to, go back into the water and get some more paint on there. Again, you don't want to make it too wet. And then I also have, it's called English Navy, so I'm using that as well. So you can put some of that in. I want to get a lot down here towards the bottom, because you can see in our study it is pretty dark down here. So I wanted to make sure that I got that in the picture. So I'm going to make that pretty dark. And if you need to, you can switch to a different brush if you feel like this is, if you're using a sponge brush and you feel like it's too soft, then you can always switch and go back to. Okay, so you can see here, I started with the darker blue. It's actually at the top now, so you can see here, but it leaves a line right across here. That is what I don't want. So I'm just going to go back and turn it upside down and try to pull those lines. I'm not getting any more paint. I'm just going to pull those lines up and try to get rid of those as much as possible. So there it looks a little less of a line. So I'm just going to keep working on that. And again, if you need to, I think I've got probably too much water in my brush, so I'm just going to squeeze it out. If you need to, just switch to a different brush. And make sure I grab the right paint color this time. And we will go ahead and work trying to get the bottom darker. And depending on how dark you want it, you may need to let it dry in between coats. That's going to give you more of a darker shade if you let it dry. And just feel free to add the values that you like. And again, I've seen this done with pinks and purples, and all of them are really pretty. I just happen to like the blue, but you know, again, this is your canvas. Do what you want with it, and you can paint it as much or as dark or as different color as you like. Okay, so now this is what mine looks like. I'm pretty happy with that right now. So I'm just going to let it dry. I'm going to actually make sure that I go around. I'm working on just a panel. They call it a panel. It doesn't have the wood on the back. Yours is a canvas, a stretched canvas. And so, but I am going to make sure, even though there's not a very wide edge, it does have an edge, and I'm going to go through and make sure that I get some color on the edges, at least where the dark paint is. So that way it is a more finished look, I guess. So, and again, if you're like me, you've got paint by now, you've got paint all over you. So just be careful when you are putting things down that you don't get your fingerprints in it, because it will leave a mark. If you touch it before it's dry, it's going to leave a mark. And that you don't get blue up here if that's not where you want it. So we're going to go ahead and let that dry. And I'm going to get this off right here so that when I touch it again, it won't be so bad. I tend to make quite the mess. Okay, so let's look at our study again. Now this particular study has lights. If you pull up the picture from Pinterest, which is absolutely my favorite thing in the world is Pinterest, you can see there are lights. That's why this is really, really bright white here. They've put white lights into their canvas. So that's entirely up to you. I have tried that once. It was an epic fail. So haven't really tried it again. We'll see how that works. So this one, as you can see, has a big snowflake right here where the darker color is on your canvas. You can also see that it runs off the edge, so don't feel like it has to be right here in the center. Put it off to the edge. It's a little more pleasing to the eye. Also, odd numbers are also pleasing to the eye. So this one has 3 snowflakes in 3 different sizes, and then what looks like little snow and glistening snowflakes here in the background. So, and again, snowflakes, none are the same. Make them as different as you want. These are all 3 different, and you can just use your liner brush and some white paint to do that. You don't need any special paint, you don't need a special pattern. It's entirely up to you and what you want to do with it. Again, if you put your snowflake on there and you decide, hey, this isn't what, this isn't the way I want it to look, you can always paint over whatever you've put on your canvas. You can always paint over it. So if you decide you don't like this, go ahead and paint some of the darker color over the top, if that's not the way you wanted it to be. Then you can also go in and use either white or silver. I think they put some silver or gray dots on here as well, and make it look like snow is falling down. And the little dots will be in the background, and then the bigger snowflakes would be in the foreground. And keep in mind, as you're looking at it close up and you're thinking, oh, these dots look ridiculous, that's okay. Because what you really need to do is set it and stand about 10 feet away from it. And that gives you a little better view, a little more pleasing to the eye. So, if you stand farther away from it, it's going to look different than when you're right up on top of it. So, hopefully, this will turn out to be one of your favorites. We'll see how that goes. And go ahead and, I think you can finish the snowflakes up on your own. And feel free to send us a picture. We'd love to have them. We'd love to put them on our Facebook page and see what everyone's doing. And I always like to see, because I miss not having class. So I miss some of you that aren't here. And I just would like to see what you guys are doing, because it's always fun to me to see at the very end of class how different everybody's pictures are. So feel free to send us those. You can email it to me at kim.keller-lewis at eastern.k12.in.us. You can always find that on our website as well. And you can post pictures to our Facebook page. So if you have questions, feel free to give me a call. Let me show you what we're going to do next month so that you can get an idea of what we're going to do. Going to do one like this. So this will be for February, and you can do whatever colors you'd like. It doesn't have to be these colors. So if there's something that you want to do that matches your house, or if you're giving it as a gift and you wanted to use it and use other colors for that, that would be fine too. In March, we'll be doing this one as well. So stay tuned. We've got a lot going on, and feel free to pick up any of our grab and go bags. Just call and register. That would be the best bet. We'll make sure that we keep one for you. So if you have any questions, give us a call. Thanks. Bye. Have a good day.